It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Okay, I think we're about to go live. All right.
Hey, good afternoon, Badgers. I just want to send out a quick thank you since the school year is almost done for everyone who supported us and came down to the market. I hope everyone has a great summer. Yvanna is going to give you a quick run through of what we're going to do today, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get it done.
All right, thanks, Chef Nick. So I'm Yvanna Messick, and I'm your registered dietitian. And happy Nutrition Month. March is National Nutrition Month, and this year's theme is making your healthy. So for everyone that looks different, and today we're going to go through how to prepare a roasted chicken with 3 different recipes. First, when you get the roasted chicken nice and hot, you might want to have it with some potato wedges, and of course a salad or steamed vegetables on the side to balance out your meal. Next, we'll be showing how to take that chicken apart, put it on a salad with some beautiful arugula, spinach, cherry tomatoes. And finally, for our last recipe, we're gonna add the remainder of the chicken to a pasta with pretty much the same ingredients that we'll be using with our salad.
Okay guys, so yeah, right now I've got a whole chicken here that we just got at the grocery store at the hot counter. What I like to do when I get one of these at home is I like to separate it all right away. So what I do is I start by taking off my my legs and thighs here. So I have 2 legs, 2 thighs, and a backbone there. So meal 1, you could, as Yvanna said, you could have a chicken, 2 chicken legs and some potato wedges and some steamed vegetables as meal 1. And there's still so much more you could do with this. So also what I'm going to do is any of these extra bones and pieces from the bird that is not really fully edible, we'll add it to a pot and make like a really rich bone broth out of it. We'll cover it up with cold water, let it simmer for a couple hours, and we can throw that in our freezer when we're making soups, stocks, anything like that. So also you'll have 2 wings, you can add that into your meal, and then you're going to just separate the 2 breasts. So right along the center here you have 2 breast bone. You're going to just run your knife straight down and just pick apart. And once these birds are cool, they just pull right apart nice and easy.
Yeah, also be careful not to burn yourself. But typically if you're making this as a leftover, then it should be kept in the fridge for food safety and temperature reasons. And as we know, chicken is a fantastic source of lean protein, meaning that it doesn't have too much fat, and chicken is just a good go-to. Super easy. The supermarket prepares it for you, the whole bird. And one thing to be mindful of is the sodium content. And if that's something you are worried about and want to prepare a chicken at home yourself, that's super easy to do. Chef Nick, did you want to run through that quickly?
Yep, so at home, you take this bird, I'd have your oven heated up to 375 degrees. Big thing with roasting a chicken is make sure it's really dry. That bird, before you put it in the oven, and I'm not saying after cooking, but before you're cooking that raw bird, just pat it dry all around. I just like using salt and pepper, and then I don't like putting things in the pan that add moisture to the cooking process. So I use a cast iron skillet at home, put that bird in there, salt, pepper, dry, in the oven, 375 degrees. A bird like this, 45 minutes is probably done. But big thing is you can add and then finish it with some salt, pepper, and some dry herbs. But a lot of people overthink roasting a chicken, and they'll add a bunch of stuff to the pan, and they'll add water to the pan or add some juices, and all it does is it doesn't help the crispiness of the skin in the bird after. So that's the quickest, easy way to take care of that. And yeah, that's the way I'd recommend doing a bird at home.
And can you give us a tip on how to ensure that your chicken is juicy on the inside with a nice crispy skin on the outside?
Just hot and quick, and let it rest after. So then that juicy skin you get on from the outside is just from keeping the moisture level down of the ingredients you have on inside the pan. So now I have two chicken breasts. I like taking the skin off. I mean, if it's something you want to keep on, you can. While I'm doing this, I've got a pot going right now to start my pasta for my pasta dish. What you want to do with this is bring it up to a boil. Season your pasta water so that it tastes like the sea. You want it to have some with salt. So we have Diamond kosher salt here. You can just use regular salt as well, but you want to taste that pasta water. It should taste like the sea. It should taste salty. When you're done cooking your pasta, you want to make sure that the pasta is cooked to al dente or to tooth, because you're then going to take that pasta and you're going to add it to a pan and heat it up again. And you never want to have overcooked pasta. You don't get that flavor and the taste you should out of a pasta dish. We've got some Barilla penne. Another thing is I like, using a good quality dry pasta. You can get this on sale at Sayers for 99 cents a box. But any pasta will really work. So for our first dish, we've got arugula and a spinach mix here. I'm just going to add this cooked chicken to the top of the dish.
So for our second recipe, we have our salad, which is loaded with spinach and arugula, fantastic source of vitamin C, antioxidants, folate, and definitely great with the fiber, keeping you regular. And also with fiber, it helps you feel full, along with the protein. And now we have some cherry tomatoes going on top. Add some extra flavor and really just some moisture to the salad instead of having it, if your chicken's a little bit dry because it is the next day. And we have some onions, which are also fantastic source of vitamins and minerals and added nutrients. And just a tad of Parmesan cheese for taste. And one interesting fact about Parmesan is that it actually has some omega-3s, which is typically what you find in oily fish. However, the Parmesan cheese does not have nearly as much omega-3s as oily fish, but it's a great source of protein and calcium and can definitely be part of a healthy diet.
So this is just a Kraft balsamic dressing and vinaigrette. You could get your own balsamic and olive oil at home. You have the ingredients here. Also, a real nice touch to this as well is a balsamic reduction. You can get that in a bottle. It's really sweet. Complements all of this stuff really well. Okay, so our next dish, we're gonna make the pasta. So pasta water's boiling. I've got it seasoned really well. It tastes like the sea. We're gonna add our pasta here.
And keep in mind, you can choose any sort of pasta. For a more healthy option, you can use a whole grain pasta and make sure it says whole grain on the ingredients. And that's just to add more fiber and keep you feeling full longer, as well as there's just added nutrients because with the white pasta, it's more of a simple carbohydrate compared to a whole grain pasta, which is more of a complex carbohydrate. So with the white pasta, you may not feel as full for longer.
So as you notice the pot stopped boiling. It's going to come down to a simmer. This pasta says about 10 minutes to cook. I'd start checking it a little bit early, and the best way to check pasta is to taste it. So take a piece, taste it. Like I said, you should have a little bit of a crunch to it. Keep that al dente. So while that's going, I'm going to start my pan over here, and this is going to be for my pasta dish. I use a little bit of olive oil. You have to be really careful with olive oil because of the high burn point it has, high smoke point it has. You get great flavor out of olive oil, but because of the high smoke point, you really want to keep your pan nice and low. Next, I'm going to take some of those red onions, and we're just going to cook them down. And once again, guys, one thing I always do is I season as I go. Seasoning as you go really builds flavor in dishes. It keeps things from being really flat and gives levels of seasoning and taste. So we're going to hit some salt and pepper in there. And once you start seeing some of that caramelization happening with your onions, turn that in there.
Yeah, definitely don't walk away and just leave your onions. You don't want them to burn. Got to keep them moving.
And red onions, they have a really nice sweeter taste, but if they go further beyond being cooked, they can get really bitter. Garlic. Garlic is something you really want to caramelize as well, but you got to be careful. You don't want garlic. Garlic burns quick. Lots of garlic, lots of garlic. So this pasta is going to be ready to get strained. When you're straining your pasta, a little trick that I like to do is I save some of the pasta water. This will help bind your dish together. So what I've done in this pot here is I've saved some of the pasta water, the starchy pasta water. And what I have here is some basil pesto. Basil, lots of garlic again. A couple scoops of that in there. A couple nice hearty scoops. And then here I've got some roasted cherry tomatoes that we put in the oven at 375 with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and just some parsley, just to roast them out until it almost turns them into, it's almost like a sauce after. We're gonna add those to the pan.
And what I love about all of these dishes is that they're very well balanced as far as your proteins, vegetables, as well as starches. And you can make them the way you like them.
Yeah, so again, we are talking about adding, one chicken in 3 dishes, but like this is a great dish without any chicken in it. Like, I mean, the flavor you get out of this. So something like this, I'd pull the chicken apart here.
And make sure not to forget about your pasta.
Yeah, so your pasta is just about ready there.
It smells amazing. I wish you guys could smell it, but if you're cooking it at home, then you definitely know what I'm talking about.
So on the magic of BrockTV, the pasta is all ready to go here. We're going to add the pasta to our pan now. This is where your pasta water is going to come in and help out, and just going to help bind everything together now.
And this is definitely an easy summer dish to make, especially if you grow your own herbs. Definitely you can buy basil and parsley plants come the spring and even the summer, and instead of relying on buying them at the grocery store.
A little bit of salt, pepper there to season everything up. This is fresh parsley that I chopped up. You don't want to put this in too early. You want to finish with this. Parsley is really a fine, not really a hardy herb, but so it's more of a finishing herb. So you want to throw it in really close to the end of your dish. And I add lots of parsley and lots of herbs to my pasta. Like Yvanna said, this is just a great, nice summer fresh type of pasta.
Yeah, it's a great comfort dish that's super easy to make and good for you. And keep in mind, when eating to be mindful. Try not to get overly hungry when it is time to eat, but when you are eating your foods, make sure to chew. Really notice those flavors, especially with this dish. It's super packed with flavor and different textures. And this way you're not tempted to overeat, because you're giving your body the chance and the time that it needs for your stomach to tell your brain that, okay, I've had enough, and you can always save some for later.
So I mean, this is a big bowl. This.
That's definitely more than one serving for sure.
So to finish this off, I'm going to top it off with some of that roast, that arugula and spinach. And then when you get into that dish, you're going to want to mix it all together. Of course, you got to have Parmesan cheese, some nice Parmesan cheese on top of there. Some fresh parsley. And then just a little bit of, that balsamic dressing. This will just give it a nice sweetness to it.
Or if you don't have any of that at home, just a simple olive oil and balsamic dress or vinegar.
There's a couple more of the roasted tomatoes there. Then
And if you still have some chicken left over, you can always make more of the same dish or get creative and make your own, whether it's pasta, salad. Maybe instead of pasta, use quinoa or millet. And
okay, well that's it, guys. That's one whole chicken, 3 dishes there. We got a arugula, spinach, roasted chicken, cherry tomato, and onion salad, and then you've got a summer fresh tomato roasted penne with pesto pasta. Also your roasted chicken with potato wedges and some steamed vegetables that you get at the grocery store. Okay guys, thanks again. We look forward to seeing everyone in September.
Yep, thanks again. Leave some comments and we'll see you in September.